initiatives or programs does Prof. Bengal have in order to help Filipino pet owners become more informed, compassionate, and responsible towards their own pets?
So, generally our CSR initiatives are under Dr. Shiba as a whole. So we support together with Dr. Shiba and Prof. Bengal several different shelter projects. The one that we've had the longest standing relationship with is Caution Project. We've been collaborating for actually since we started. We sponsor products to them on a regular basis. We make sure that they always have our products for their shelter animals, both for dogs and cats. Not sure if you've seen the project that we did last year, where we did an adoption video shoot for them that we fully sponsored. That's probably our biggest partner. We also work with several other smaller shelters. I think that on the giving back side. Other than that, we do try to do our best at educating pet parents. So if you follow our social media accounts, one of the things you will see is that we oftentimes invite vet experts and ask them questions about how to best serve their dogs or cats. And even aside from the vets, we just try to share hacks and tips. We try to debunk myths. We try to make sure that cats and dogs don't go thirsty in the hot months, these things. So it's really education through our social media channels that we do on the website.
Okay, so this next question is actually for Liza in particular. So you've always used your platform to speak up about your own personal advocacies. With you being ambassador, are there any causes or campaigns that you are personally looking forward to with Prof. Bengal?
Well, I would say since I've moved to LA, I've become a lot more educated in like the pet space. I recently became very close friends with an owner of a nonprofit organization in LA that rescues cats and dogs, which is the reason why I ended up rescuing my own cats, 5 of them. And so, in partnership with Dr. Shiba and Professor Bengal, I guess my contribution would be bringing awareness most of the time, whether it's through their campaigns, social media, or just sharing, content of me with my pets and how I best practices for taking care of them, or making sure that they're always healthy and happy.
Okay, so lastly for my question, this is for Phil. How do you think Professor Bengal gives back to the community of pets and their owners? What do you think defines the brand's purpose to its audience?
So I think on the giving back is basically what I covered in the first question, right? It's the CSR piece and also education. I think other than that, it's really the products themselves. We only bring products to the market that do follow science. So everything we do is science-backed. And we do ensure that the products have high quality. And I think that is the best that we can do, right? I think the market is flooded with cheap and fairly low quality products. So the way we try to stand out aside from obviously doing our CSR is that we provide animals, cats, dogs with what they really need, and also the ability for pet parents to just rely on us as a brand that we deliver what we promise. And both Tim, my co-founder, and I, we're dog owners. We both have dogs. Of course, our dogs eat our own products. I don't know how many pets we have in-house at this point in our company, but I would guess probably 150. So we have a lot of testers, and I would never feed something to someone else's pet that I would not want to give to my own pet.
Alright, thank you so much, Phil and Liza, and congratulations to the launch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chloe. Now we call on Angelo from GMA to go ahead and ask his questions.
Hi, this is for Liza. So, ever since you had your dog, Judah, how did Judah change your life as a pet owner?
Well, she keeps me company, obviously, being in LA and being on my own. It can get pretty lonely, and the fact that she's there, it keeps me busy because, I have a responsibility to take care of her, but also I have a lot of fun with her. Like, I go on hikes, I go to the dog park, I take her, on little retreats sometimes, and I don't think I would be doing any of that otherwise if I didn't have her around. But also, I think it's just taught me to be so much more loving. She's just a sweetheart, and she's just so genuine and kind, and she makes me so happy. And because of that, like I feel like I have so much love and care to give, which is exactly why I rescued 5 cats. I keep on saying it, but like I'm really obsessed with my cats now. I never thought I would be a cat mom. I didn't used to really like cats, but now I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, that's it.
The lessons you learned from owning pets.
Lesson I learned, it's a huge responsibility. When I got Yuna, I was here in the Philippines and I was very blessed to have a lot of support. I had people that helped me take care of her, and so I didn't really feel the weight of the responsibility when I first had Yuna. But like I said, when I moved to LA, and because I'm living on my own, I had to take on the responsibility of doing everything for her, walking her, washing her, feeding her, and everything. And so, yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. Why am I blanking? It's so hot. But anyway, that's the answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angelo. Now may I call on the representative from Philstar. From Philstar, there at the back, to go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, Liza. Nice to see you again. So, what are your pro tips and non-negotiables for responsible pet parenthood?
Pro tips. Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's important to do your research and to really study. Before I took on the responsibility of fostering 5 cats, I did deep research. I didn't only watch like 5 videos, I probably watched 20 different videos just to really understand what it takes to take care of cats. And because they're very needy, you want to make sure that, you know, you have the resources, but also the time to dedicate towards them. And so, yeah, as a pet parent, I think it's responsible to do your research and make sure that you have time to actually take care of these animals, because even if they say cats are very independent and they can handle being on their own, I think it's still important that you make time to like be with them, socialize them, and, you know, just love on them. Same thing goes with dogs, especially because I feel like dogs are kind of like little kids. You really need to be attentive to their needs, and you always just need to, you need to give them that physical connection.
So, my next question is, the last time we spoke with Mr. You teasingly said you were down to do a film or show with you. Right? Yeah. So, is there any progress of this?
Oh, like in film or TV?
Yeah.
Well, the opportunity hasn't come my way yet, but definitely if the opportunity presents itself, I would love to be in a movie or a TV show with Yuna, because then she will be immortalized forever through that film and TV show. But yeah, like I said, no opportunities yet, but because I am now producing films, I might just put her in something.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now let's move on to the representative from Adobo Magazine. The representative, there we go. Hey.
Hi Liza, hi Phil. So I'm Neil from Adobo Magazine. So my question building on the creativity of this campaign. For Phil, Prof. Bengal University is more than a campaign. It is a creative universe built around pet wellness. So how did you both approach translating this advocacy into a creative brand story that feels both fun and education?
So I think, first of all, Prof. Bengal is obviously the feline sister to Dr. Shiba. We wanted to keep that concept. And I think as the name speaks for itself, both for Dr. Shiba and Prof. Bengal, the science part is very important to us. So indeed, with the concept, we try to really bridge the gap between what pets really need, what is science-based, what latest papers say, and the fun part, i.e. also just offering our products in a way that cats love them. And that they're obviously yummy and that it's not going to get knocked off the table because they don't like it. And I think that is also what the university stands for, right? I think we have a lot of the serious elements on the science part and being professional. And at the same time, if you walk around here, you see the lockers and so on, you see the photo booth. The fun part of going to university, right? Kind of the college experience. And that is really at the core of the brand. The brand tries to combine these two things. being serious, being professional, at the same time being incredibly fun. And yeah, that's why we came up with the university concept.
Now, in today's creative landscape, audiences gravitate towards authenticity and empathy. Phil, how did your personal stories as pet lover shape the tone and emotional heart of this campaign?
Well, I'm not a cat owner. I grew up having a cat, but I am a dog parent, as I mentioned before. And I think when we came up with this, we worked very closely within our full Dr. Shiba Prof Bengal team with team members who have cats. So a lot of the authenticity from cat behavior, right? Very often just also being quirky, incredibly demanding, sometimes even snarky, is very much based on what we've been observing with our own pets. And we should just try to keep this authentic piece of how cats behave as part of our brand. Yeah.
Lastly, for Liza, as a creator and fur parent, how do you feel to collaborate with Prof Bengal on this campaign?
It was a lot of fun. I actually kind of like shot the campaign and everything around the same time that we did Dr. Shiba, so it was a while back. They've been preparing for this launch for a while now, and I had the opportunity to like meet a lot of different types of cats, Professor Bengal being one of them. And like I mentioned earlier, at the time, I wasn't very used to cats, I would say. I had a cat growing up, but it wasn't like my cat. It was the family cat, so I didn't really have the opportunity to bond with it a lot. So when I shot this campaign, I will say that I was like a little scared or maybe a little stiff around the cats, but it was still a good opportunity to like expose myself to them. And luckily the cats that they hired for the shoot were all very nice. They were all very sweet and gave me such an easy time. But also I think that campaign is kind of what encouraged me to start considering having a cat. Especially when I moved to LA, I didn't want Yuna to be alone, but I also knew that I didn't have the time to have another dog because it's just a lot of work. So I wanted Yuna to have companions, and so I've been considering getting cats for a long time. And that's ultimately what made me want to rescue because I realized that there's a lot of cats, that are on the streets and that are in shelters and everything. And I think that adopting is the best way to go so that you can give a chance to the little critters that haven't experienced love and genuine care. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. Now let's move on to Malaya Business Insight. Can I see the wave there? Okay. Let's go.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. For Phil, will there be any upcoming feeding programs or outreach programs for this space? And then would you be like expanding your pool of pet groups or solo rescuers that you would be working with?
So we're generally very open to these things, and I think this is both push and pull. So we do actively reach out to groups. I mentioned the shelters before, where we try to actively seek organizations that we can work with to do feeding and also other things. But we're also always very open to get inbound asks, right? A lot of people email us nowadays or message us on Instagram, TikTok, asking if we can sponsor certain things, and we're generally very open to that. And I would just continue to extend that invite. If there are meaningful projects, we're normally very happy to support those.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's move on to ABS-CBN.
Yeah. Hi, my question's for Liza. Yeah, hi. Congrats on being a certified cat rescuer now. Sorry. So it's a two-part question. One is rescuing a mom and her kittens. What is the most challenging and the most rewarding thing about that experience? And seeing how Professor Bengal is one of the ways you spoil your cats. Why would you recommend it to the other pet owners here in the country?
The most challenging thing is earning their trust, especially because they were street cats. They probably went through a lot of hardships living on the streets, and so you know, when you rescue a cat, they're not very trusting in the beginning, and you have to really be patient and take the time to earn that trust. But once you do, they're so loving and they're so sweet, and it's just so nice. The rewarding part was seeing them get healthy, because when I rescued them, they were so skinny. They had like a lot of different illnesses, and so I really had to take them to the vet and you know, help nourish them so that they could be healthy and have a good chance at surviving. And how did Professor Bengal play into that? Well, I was lucky enough to get sent a lot of cat food products when I was in LA, and so when I first had them, I had the food already on hand. So when I rescued them, that was immediately like the first thing that I gave them, and they loved it so much. And what I liked the most about it was not only was it delicious, like I said, they're very picky, but it's genuinely good for them too, because all the cat treats, they have like different types of functions. And so it's the easy peasy, is what you call it? Yeah, easy peasy paste treat. I kept on giving that to the mama cat because she had really bad UTI, and it actually really helped with her recovery.
Do you have a favorite kitten, and is there like a most nakaka one with the treats and all that?
I do have a favorite. It's bad to say. I love them all, but I do have a favorite. The mom was my favorite, actually. But unfortunately, I didn't adopt her. I actually found her a parent that adopted her just 2 weeks ago. I loved her the most because she was the sweetest, she was the most affectionate, and she was just, for being a street cat, she was so like gentle and so warm towards me. But now, obviously, I'm obsessed with the 4 kittens because I'm with them. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Who loves the treats the most?
Who loves the treats the most? They all equally love the treats the most, but they have different favorites. The boys really like the purple one, I noticed. I'm forgetting the name. Why am I forgetting the name? What's the purple one again? It's there. Yeah, bye-bye floof. The mama cat likes easy peasy because that's what I kept on giving her the most because of her UTI problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like it's too cute. I'm exposing the fact that she wants to.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, let me call on the representative from This Is Mirror.
Hello, Liza and Phil. So I'm not sure if this question has already been addressed earlier, but my question is for Phil. So, what made you decide to expand from Dr. Shiba's dog focus line into cat care with Prof. Bengal?
So I think there's 2 sides to this question. One side is that we just saw great success with Dr. Shiba. I mean, the brand was a completely new brand that we came up with a little over 3 years ago that we started here in the Philippines. And we just saw it working well, right? And we saw that we could have impact on pets' lives. And then we said, hey, if this is working so well for dogs, why don't we also offer something similar to cat parents that could really make a difference in their lives? So I think purely just also making sure that pets get what they want. And then of course there's the business side, right? I mean, in the end we do run a business, and the dog side worked incredibly well. The cat market is booming. A lot of people are, Liza's not the only one who's adopted cats. A lot of people are deciding to foster cats, oftentimes in addition to dogs that are already at home. So nowadays almost 50% of Filipino households do have a cat. It's quite an insane number, and that's growing strongly. And we of course also want to be part of that market. There's increased consumer spend on that.
Alright, and I've seen that Prof. Bengal has been in the market since last year. So how's the Prof. Bengal perform? It's in first year.
So I think it performed better than we thought, to be honest. We obviously did not really know what we were getting ourselves into because cat is different to dog. Having said that, I think now that it's really booming, that cat is starting to become even a bigger category than dog. I'm very glad that we started working on this over a year ago because of course a lot of preparation goes into this. And I'm very, very excited about these new products. I think they can make a difference, and also they're a clear upgrades to our previous offerings. Yeah, I don't know where we will land with this, but I do hope that we can establish Professor Bengal in a similar position that we've established Dr. Shiba in, as one of the leading brands for cats in the country.
So for my last question, what's the next big trend in pet wellness that Prof Bengal is, are prepared for?
I think wellness as a whole is really the thing. So as I mentioned before, spend is going up. The same as for dogs, what we've been seeing oftentimes, dogs and cats used to be fed with food leftovers at home. For pets, I think that's a little bit harder because they just have very specific needs and they need a lot of protein. But overall, more people are buying products, and the products that people are buying are also increasing in quality. So I think there's a clear trend towards more responsible purchasing behavior. Same as for humans. I mean, a lot of us are starting to get much more involved or interested in what we're actually eating. The same thing is happening in the pet space. And then same as for humans, longevity is obviously going to be a huge thing, or is starting to be a thing. Still in its early shoots in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia, but if you look across the world, across the US and Europe, there's a lot of products emerging in that space now that can positively impact both lifespan and quality of life.
Thank you very much to our media friends. And for those who still have more questions, well, Phil can entertain your questions. You can just go approach him later on.